What up, bro? It's your boy Mo Better from Mo Better Brothers Productions LLC. Connection with I Deserve a Deal. But right now we're talking about Collective Minds LLC, and I'm right here with Anthony McGee, one of the members of Collective Minds LLC. We've been associates and friends for longer than that. Collective Minds LLC is actually about us as a people getting together to do things that are absolutely necessary for us to move ahead in life, individually and as people. And one of the biggest things about us is we talk about situations and financial demonstrations, things of that nature. We cry about finances. And I want people to understand something. I want people to look at something. Collective Minds LLC is about the education, period, in life. Cultural education, economic education. And Anthony McGee is one of the people that I know a whole lot, but I don't perfect everything. So the situation is I have people in the organization that actually perfect what it is that we need that can assist us in everything. Like we have somebody else in this organization that may need something and perfect it what Anthony may need. But right now, I want you to understand is that we run and strive for money, fiat, finances. But the world, United States, we're in $96.3 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
Because what actually runs the world? Is it money or what is it?
Well, debt actually runs the world. And then money is second, because you can have debt without money. I know it may sound a little crazy, but you can have debt without money. Like, for example, you got a house, and you got a car, but you don't have a job, but you have debt because you owe that. And so now it takes money to pay that debt. So you can have debt without having money, because as long as you have credit, you can get debt.
That's what I wanted to talk about. There's credit.
Credit.
So what runs the world?
Credit actually runs the world.
See, we have, videos and stuff we run around as a people. We're groomed to chase money, to chase dollars, to chase fiat. And we all on here with taking videos with thousands of dollars and money and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
You go around the world.
Absolutely.
Building personal and corporate credit.
Yes.
And when you go places, do you see them with a bunch of money?
No, when anybody that's in business and understand business, you'll barely ever see them with any cash. Like myself, when I travel, I don't take no money. I may have $1 or $2 in my wallet, but I use my credit cards because I can get cash off my credit card if need to be. But it's rarely any place that do not accept credit cards. So credit is everything, and people in the business world understand it more or less than people that's not in the business world. And when I say business people, and I'm talking about people who have business and finance, because they know that they need credit in order to obtain money or finance for different projects that they may be investing in, or payroll. So therefore, they know they don't have the cash, they got the credit, they can go to the banks and get a line of credit, which we'll discuss that later. But yes, credit is everything that we need. And for people, for example, let me say myself, my mother was a great person, loved her to death, but she didn't understand credit. So if she didn't understand credit and how credit worked, she couldn't teach me about credit because she didn't know about credit. And that's where a lot of us middle class or low income people, we fall in that bracket, not knowing about credit. So we don't know that we can't teach our offsprings about credit, so they can up their value in society, because people with good credit have value, and people who don't have credit, now I'm not saying personally that's my view, but that's how society view it.
Remember in a time like it was coming up in especially during the 60s, but in the 70s, to my time coming up, it was almost like impossible for us to obtain credit as a people, as a black people.
Absolutely.
And that was because back then, before then, but even especially during that time when we as a people were coming out, credit, like you was talking about, the education. The education of what is the most powerful was denied us. So the credit, we can't give you credit because when you find out how powerful credit is, it gives you the value of yourself and how powerful you are and what you can do to clean it up and clear it.
Absolutely. And as I was stating shortly ago, credit determines who you are as a person in the business world, in the corporate world. Because a person with a 780, he's considered a good person that pays bills all the time, which in reality, he pays bills all the time because he's a 780. Now, a person with a 580, they look down on because they know you're not paying your bills. They look at you as being irresponsible. Because with a 580 credit score, you're going to have some collections, you're going to have some lates, and you may have public records on your credit bureau. So that shows the lender that you're not responsible. So they're going to deny you credit, and they're going to look down on you. Versus me, with a person with a 780 plus score, when I go in there, they don't give me a second look. Once they see my credit report, it's what you want, how much you want, and they offer me more credit than I'm willing to take at the time. So me, like say for example, let's say if Mo have a credit score that's in the 5 and mine's in the 7s, we both go in the same place. He have a suit and tie on. I can come in with a t-shirt and jogging pants on. Now they may look at me funny initially and look at him like he got class, but once they're wearing that credit report, the look's gonna reverse. I'm gonna be the person that they give me all the respect, and they're gonna look at him like, oh, you don't need to be in this store at all because you can't afford nothing that's in this store. Because they're gonna look at the credit, not knowing they have the cash, but to them, cash is merely an instrument, temporary instrument.
Tool.
That's it. Credit is something that you're gonna have and something that you can use, that they look at it as a powerful instrument to unlock a lot of doors.
And this is why we as a people have been groomed to remain the consumer.
Absolutely.
Because what we do is we go out and buy things like, I talk about Black Wall Street often. They had the biggest and the best infrastructure of all people, not from just black people, but of all people at that time. And their money circulated over 100 times before it ever left the community.
Yes.
And the situation is, we have been groomed to be this consumer because right now, instead of our money circulating at all, our check from credit, from going to spend it, since they have given it to us, we remain the consumer because right now they groomed us with commercials and propaganda to spend our money 4 days before we get our check. And 6 hours after the little bit that we do get, after it's in our pocket, we spend it within 6 hours with somebody else. So right now with your education, like he's over here, this is the first interview in my office where we've been knowing each other for a long time. So that's why but I wanted to do this live. And the thing is, with your education, you don't just do credit repair.
No.
And teach us how to do credit repair. You actually teach what needs to be done in order to have that good credit and to remain and keep it. And you teach not to live beyond our means.
And you know what, and that's the most important part. When people get this credit, they don't know how to maintain it. I tell a person to get $1 million is not hard. The hardest part about $1 million is maintaining that money. Because I can take you and get you $1 million in a matter of 1 year if you do everything that I tell you to do and do it the right way. And of course, you got to invest some money, but it's not a whole lot if you run the program the way I set it up for you to run. Now, if you're a person who's scared of debt, then you can't do it. Because you're going to have this money, but it's going to be on paper. It's not going to be the physical cash that you get.
Explain that. See, that's what I want to say. Again, we are groomed to chase money, fiat, and I want people to understand that when you get $100, you got $1,000 bill. Guess what $1,000 bill actually means when you turn it into the government? It means that you actually owe. It's really not that we're taught to believe that it's money, but it's really a bartering system that says that this is what you owe for whatever it is that you're going to get. Now, this is what we chase for the finances, but what really counts, you can't put it in your hand. It's a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that to us, please.
Well, with cash is basically what he just said. In cash, really don't have a real value on it because at any given time, the United States of America can say cash have no value and it's obsolete. Then all the money you have will be nothing. But your credit is good around the world. It don't change if you're in Italy or if you're in Japan, if you're in Australia. The money changes, but the credit don't. If you got a score here, because most of the companies around the world use the same system. Because the system was created by an independent company that is ran by the Federal Reserve. Now I know that's a little deep. We going into the Federal Reserve itself is an independent private company. It's not owned by the United States government. And I know a lot of people may think that, but it's not. It actually started in Europe. There's Federal Reserve in Europe, England, Spain, Japan. So they have Federal Reserve around the world. Now, with the cash itself, the cash is an instrument to get temporary things, but it's not a tool that works for the long term. Meaning that, well, let me give you an example because it's kind of complex, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for everybody to get a grasp of how it works. I had a guy that he had $10,000, and I told him, with the $10,000, I looked at his profile. I said, I can take that $10,000 and get you $100,000 to $120,000 in credit card and cash in 90 days. And he was saying, why would I do that? Because I'm gonna owe that money back if I use it. And I spoke to him. I said, well, what if you can take that $10,000 and turn it to what, 20, 30,000? He said, that's what I can do in 90 days. I said, but that do not succeed the $120,000 I can get for you. He said, well, I don't have to pay it back, and I got my cash, and cash rules. I said, absolutely not. Cash don't rule. I said, go down to Disney World and try to rent some of the products of the jet skis and everything.
Simple as that. I love that. How
You
you
can't.
said you can't
You
without
can't.
what?
A credit card. Go to the hotels now and book a hotel room. Not the little winky dinks. We're talking about the nice hotel, 3.5 stars plus. You gotta have a credit card on file for incidental. They got to make sure, guess what? If you tear that room up, they can charge your credit card. And if you don't even have to have all the money on there, like say your credit card, they take $50 a day incidental. They hold it. They don't take it, but they hold it. So if you go in there and you do $30,000 for damage to that hotel room, and your credit card is only worth $2,000, but the insurance company that the credit card has backs it up. They don't tell you about that. As a car holder, they never told me about that. I had to learn it myself. Even with rental cars, for instance, credit card. You got to have a credit card to rent a rental car. Unless you're going to go to Rusty Rentals, they get one of the little raggedy cars and pay an arm and a leg. And with that credit card, here's another trick that they trick you. You don't have to buy insurance because your credit card has insurance in there that protect each and every individual with a credit card. Only thing it don't cover if you tear that car up is that it's called the usage per day. The days they can rent that car out, you have to pay that yourself each day that car is down. So the credit card itself holds more value than cash. Because I told my man, I say you can turn your $10,000 to $30,000 in 90 days. But if you invest that $10,000 and put it on yourself, and turn that $10,000 to $100,000 to $120,000 in credit, you can do 10 times what you're gonna do with the $10,000 that you had. Because $100,000 and $10,000 take 10,000 10 times to go to 100. You go buy a house for 10 grand, you can't fix it up. I go buy for 10 grand, I can put 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 in the house and resell a house for the value that you couldn't with your 10 grand. So what a point I was getting at is you can never do with cash what you can do with credit, because the credit will overrule the cash, because you can get more credit than you can with cash.
If you do what you are supposed to do.
Well,
with the
now that's the most important thing with us. I had a buddy, I got a buddy, Arab guy, Sam. I don't know if you've met Sam before, and I asked Sam one day, it's like maybe 2 years ago, I said, how come you Arabs always come down our neighborhood and open y'all stores, right? And I've been cool with him for 32 years. He said, he said, I'm gonna keep it 100. He said, because when y'all get y'all money, y'all spend all y'all money up. He said, blacks don't save no money at all. He said, man, y'all get y'all money, y'all come to the store, and y'all spend y'all whole check within a day or two. He said, we love that, because y'all bringing that cash. And he turned around and spent $30,000 with me to build his company for his company to get credit so he can go buy 2 more stores. So he understood the value of credit, and it kind of made me a little uneasy because they exploit our people by putting in little stores, and it's our fault. And I say it's our fault, it was our mother's fault, and their mother before them because they didn't know. But it's up to us now that we know to teach our kids and our grandkids the value of credit and how important credit is. Don't chase the cash, chase the credit line, because the credit is going to get you where you need to get. You need a Cadillac truck, okay, you got $20,000, and I got my credit score where it's at. I'm going to go to get that Cadillac truck. You can't get that $20,000 with your 500 credit score. You ain't getting a brand new Cadillac truck at all. Down there, try to go to Crestmont. You must have Cadillac, you must have car credit to order to go get a brand new Cadillac. People don't know that.
And
Cadillac about to give you a $90,000 vehicle and you never had credit in a car business or paying the car back.
this is one of the things that a lot of us have, we didn't know it, but everywhere you go, they ask, cable, what is your credit like?
Oh, they don't run a credit report.
You know what I'm saying?
Every credit check
is run a credit check on you, and what we do is we strive to try to get credit, but we don't know the import of maintaining it.
And little do they know, and certain banks run your credit check too. They will run your credit. Certain banks will run your credit to see what your credit is like before, like credit unions.
Yes.
Credit unions run your credit report. They want to see what your credit is like before they put you in their system, because they give a lot of credit out easy because they don't buy by the same rules the banks buy by. They're more flexible. So credit union is a great place to open accounts.
This is something how simple and how important credit is, and things that we have never been told about. Simple. You got a library card, be late on the book. You owe it. It's a debt because you owe them credit. Whether you got a credit card or not, you got to pay them back.
Well, know what we're going to do? The next interview, I'm going to show you a couple of people credit report with Cleveland Public Library on there, and for $8, and drop a score 20 and 30 points because they didn't pay their book fee. The Cleveland Public Library puts, you're not paying on it, they put it on your credit report because they know how important credit is to an individual. You can't even get their apartments, they run a credit check. Get a new job. For certain companies, well, a lot of companies run credit checks. Trying to get appliance, credit check. Car, credit check. It's almost in every field in business, in personal, they run credit checks.
But and this is not just an interview because I'm interviewing somebody for Collective Minds LLC. It was a lot of situations that I did not know. Like I said, I don't really watch TV. I study all day. So I know a little bit about a whole lot, but there are certain things that I do not know. And I have no problem with saying, hey, can you help me with this? Vita Cannon, marriage counseling, Anthony McGee, credit repair, certain people with real estates, Carla, different things of that. She's an accountant. I don't do it. My company does everything as far as entertainment. So we build websites, make business cards, things of that nature. But guess what? I hire people and subcontract people to do these things. This man is telling, this is not, I say that to say this is not just an interview. He's doing my credit repair. He's doing both my company, my corporate, and my personal credit repair because I didn't know the education that was needed in order to do this. Like in Collective Minds LLC, what we do, we would have people of credit do certain seminars because they have perfected what is not just their job. I've seen that they are actually certified to be able to do what they're needed to do to protect and help us with whatever the endeavor is. You got Vita Cannon, who does marriage counseling. You have Carla, she's an accountant. you have different people that do different things. Anthony McGee actually teaches credit repair. So he's actually doing both my personal and corporate credit repair on things that I have not known. So he's able to teach us what is needed to repair that credit, to get us where we need to be, which is the most important thing we need to do in life is clear our credit. So we can obtain absolutely everything it is. Like you was talking about earlier, there's franchises in these plazas. We can get them. We can be a part of Pizza Hut franchise together. We can be a part of Subway. They can be in our neighborhoods, but they don't always have to belong to someone else.
And you know what? And I'm glad you brought it up. Let me say this. When you see these restaurants, the Raleigh's, the Pizza Hut, let's say franchise, the Crickets, AT&T, a lot of those businesses we look at in the urban community, we don't think of owning it because we think how much money it costs. But little do you know, those people are getting loans. The Arabs, the Indians, because I got those as my clients. I got 4 Arab clients that I just got a guy funded for $550,000. He just bought one gas station. Now he put down $550,000 that he got from the bank that I got him a loan. And I got a guy who I got 3 cricket stores based on his credit. He didn't have $3,000 cash, period. But he had a good score. So I showed him how to work that credit score to obtain the credit to buy 3 cricket stores, which he ended up paying like $150,000. So I got him a line of credit at 3 banks, totaling like $400,000. So he was able to buy the stores and then buy his phones flat out without having to try to finance it, and then he was able to sell it. Those are 2 examples of what I'm saying. These, like Riley's, you can buy into the franchise. You only get in through credit. You have to have credit with them. You're not paying straight cash and buying the place out because they want to be able to see that you can maintain the business the way it's supposed to be maintained because you buy into a franchise, which means there's rules that you must go by. You own it, but with these rules, and in any given time, you don't follow the rules, they can take it back from you.
So again, a situation where it's like one of our biggest problems as a people is we don't discipline ourselves.
Discipline and not knowing. And then we scared of responsibility. I have an aunt worked for the state of Alabama for 40 years. And she retired and she still do the mental health thing. So she worked for mental health people. So I said, well, start your own business. Well, baby, I don't want to do it because there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of things. I said, Auntie, that's what you did your first 10 years.
For somebody else.
Right, for the state. That's what you did for the first 10 years was paperwork. Then the last 30, you ran the state mental health, not the city, the whole state. And I'm like, you did this. She said, well, that's a lot of responsibility. And I ran to quite a few people that ran businesses for other companies and that's retired or that's leaving the job. And I said, why don't you start your own business? And I was willing to put my credit up in my cash because I know they're good at what they do. Responsibility. We, as an individual, be scared of the responsibility. That's one of the main reasons, Mo, there's not a lot of black businesses because people that actually know how to run it with efficiency, they're scared. They're scared to go out there and take that responsibility. And when I'm going to put my money up and you still scared, I said, man, that's crazy. I said, our mind, we conditioned, man, that Willie Lynch syndrome is
so that's why like collective mindset, let's see, it's about people who don't, people who think, speak, but most important is act upon what it is that we're doing. So collective means a group of people who think, feel, and act the same way. Mm-hmm. So that's what it's about. And this whole organization is about growth and development, one of the biggest things that we have, and we need to understand as we're talking about the import of credit, because it actually runs the world. And I'm gonna ask you a question, like the president that we just had. This is to the listeners. How did this man get into a couple of $100 billion worth of debt? That's because he had good credit and he was able to go get certain situations. But again, however, we don't want to do that. As a people, what we want to do individually, even as a people, is we want to have quality of what it is that we do. So we want to have the discipline needed to continuously build what it is that we're establishing.
Yeah, it sounds a little funny, right? With Donald Trump, right?
Yes.
Yes, I heard people getting the uproar that he owed $900 billion. He owed $900 billion in taxes and he got out of it because of a loophole. Well, actually, that same loophole applies for you and everybody else as well. So for him to owe $980 billion, $1 million in taxes, that means he had to make the money to be in position to owe it. But educating yourself on business and finance, you can learn yourself. Like your job, you work, you can write a lot of that stuff off yourself. For example, your gas going back and forth to work. That's part of your job. That's part of the expense that you use. Lunch that you buy yourself, when you eat at work, all those things can be wrote off. You have to find your good tax preparer. Not so much accountant, but tax preparer. And he can hook you up and show you all the breaks that the rich and powerful get, because it is not strictly for them. It's for anybody who know how to work the system. Donald didn't do nothing wrong though. All he did was took advantage of what the system had for him. No different than you.
Right.
You got your business, you can write everything off. So you people got non-profit organizations, 501c3.
And what the thing is, one of the things is about that is we don't educate ourselves on it. And like you said, responsibility. We'll tailgate in the cold.
Out there right now, they doing it right now.
Tailgate right now in the cold. You can tell me something about Bernie Kosar, Brian Sight.
Mm-hmm.
But
you know, whole history.
Don't want to read the paperwork to get your life together